my Gemini collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs. Welcome to your Healing Twin Flame read for September, October 2020, and mid-September, mid-October 2020, or timeless whenever you're watching this. The majority of my readings are timeless. I am your reader, Angelo, Lyons. Mal for short, professional wish, professional intuitive, president of Drawing the Circle Productions, the Archangel of Lyons, Angelo Lyons, but you can call me Mal. Hi. My subscribers, thank you so much. I'm actually doing this on the day of September 22nd, Mabon autumnal equinox. So blessed fall to you. For those of you who observe the Sabbats as Sabbats, not just days on the calendar, wishing you the very, very best and the very, very blessed of Mabon tide, the second harvest and all of that. I got videos about that on my channel. If you want to look deeper, go have a look. Otherwise, let us get down to business. My subscribers, thank you so much. Truly, Mabon for me is spiritual Thanksgiving, so it's not just a spiritual practice or a way of bypassing, lesser vibrational feelings or whatever you want to call it. I truly am thankful for all of you helping me on my YouTube journey. It's a good time of year to stop and look back, right? The second harvest. What have you learned? What have you integrated that you have learned? That kind of stuff in 2020 has been a bit balls to the wall that way. So that I still have a career and I'm still able to serve and still able to read you all. Truly thankful. Thank you. And if you're new to my channel and want to support me in my work, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and comment. All the YouTube-y stuff you're supposed to do, as well as share stuff if you think there's somebody or get the sense that somebody would benefit from a reading that I do. Well, rock and roll. Let's get down to business, though. For this particular reading, we are doing a 13-card spread that my guides designed through me, and there will be an extended reading on Vimeo.com. The link is in the description box below, along with the links for all of the card systems that I use. We're doing 9 in combo, 9 different decks. You'll get 4 here on YouTube, and the other 5 over in Vimeo on demand land if you want to go check out the extended reading. And by the end of this, you should have an idea whether or not you need to do that. As well, there are links in the description box about twin flames and soulmates and soul contracts, and how twin flame and soulmate are not the same thing. And twin flames, they teach you how to love yourself. Think about that. Meaning they can't give you the love, the respect, the acceptance, right? They can't give you the love that you want. You have to give yourself that in a twin flame contract. Different than a soulmate contract where you help each other heal. More symbiotic. Just go, you'll see why these are called the healing twin flame contract reads, because they are soul contracts. And we're going to look at that with divine feminine, divine masculine. Divine feminine will be on this side, divine masculine will be on this side. Has nothing to do with bodily gender or gender preference or anything like that. Like when I work, I'm very divine feminine, but when I'm with a guy, I'm very much divine masculine, right? I'm a top, just how it is. So though I may get all gussied up for YouTube, most of the time I'm in sweats and t-shirts and, doing yoga on my deck, and maybe not so solo. Anyway, moving along. Remember, this is a general read. Focus on your breath. Take what resonates. Leave what doesn't. Check your other signs, because you have more than one twin flame contract. Please, my father and I were a twin flame contract. Farm Boy, I think was a twin flame contract, unless it somehow resolves itself. And isn't that the thing? So many soulmate contracts that we want, but we think that the twin flame is the one that we want. The twin flame teaches us to be the mate of our own soul. Learning how to love yourself, learning how to heal yourself, making you a better soulmate. But sometimes soulmate contracts can be disguised as twin flames for a little bit. So it's tricky, right? The course of true love never did run smooth. Thanks, Billy. That being said, let's get down to business, shall we? Focus on your breath. I'll call upon my pantheons and get you the clarity, guidance, and grace that I was born to give. Ready? Breathe. First reading of the day, my collective pantheons of angels, goddesses, gods, masters, and the higher selves of all involved. We're dealing with the Gemini collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign here. So can I please get 2 cards? One for the divine feminine soul power, the archetype, using the Caroline Mace archetype cards. One for the divine feminine, one for the divine masculine, please. Who is this couple, this twin flame contract couple, masculine, feminine? for the Gemini collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs mid-September to mid-October 2020, or Timeless. The Divine Feminine is here. Please put the Divine Masculine in my hand. I feel him, and we are good to go. Keep in mind, these are soul patterns, aspects of the soul contracts you agreed to coming into this life. But this twin flame is teaching you how to what? How to heal, how to love, how to evolve, the shadow to light, alchemize the lead to gold, the toxic to the healthy. And how very interesting. We have the Divine Feminine as the servant archetype. I have the servant archetype. I am a Virgo. We are both ruled, by the way. You are the Gemini watching this by the planet Mercury. So there is that service aspect, even in Gemini, in there somewhere. The Divine Masculine, though, has the Saboteur archetype. Now, the Saboteur is one of the 4 survival family archetypes. It's the child, the victim, the saboteur, the prostitute. They're not at what they sound like. Read Sacred Contracts by Carolyn Mays. At least do a cursory search, right, of her work, the survival family archetypes. You'll get a deeper meaning of this. And of course, I will read you what's written on the card. But this is about decisions of empowerment. So once again, it feels like we have a Divine Feminine who's just willing to serve and serve and serve. And there's an unhealthy aspect of that. We'll look at that. And a Divine Masculine who may be sabotaging themselves. The Divine Feminine, the relationship, as twin flames can have a nice touch of that. So let's look at our Divine Feminine here, the servant shadow attribute, using the lack of money as an excuse to not move forward with your life. Well, I would love to do that, but I don't have the money to do that. I mean, I'm a spiritual teacher. Do you know how many times people say, well, I would love to come for a reading, I would love to do your work, but I can't afford to do it. And I've always made leeway for people to do it, but even then they don't. So it's like, look at that. Yes, of course, there are financial restraints that, well, maybe not all of us on the planet have to deal with, but certainly 2020, right? I get that. So that doesn't mean that a lack of money doesn't mean you need to stop praying, right? Service has so many different internal aspects that bless the world as well, right? Being kind is a service, right? That doesn't cost any money. But the light attribute is more what I'm feeling here for the majority of the Divine Feminines in this read. Delight in serving others with a free and loving heart. That I have. Took me a long time to get there. I have that. So I'm not a Gemini. Who knows? Maybe this is a Gemini Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign in my life. I can relate to that one a little bit. But anybody can relate to the Saboteur. You may not at this moment, but everybody, like I said, has this archetype. The shadow attribute induces self-destructive behavior or the desire to undermine others. Don't tell me you've never wanted to undermine someone, and don't tell me that you've never have had self-destructive behavior induced within you. Whether or not you acted on it is a different story. But to feel that impulse, right? The light attribute is worth it. The alchemy here we all have to go through. It's how we learn how to survive in this world, the survival archetypes. The light attribute highlights your fear of self-empowerment and the changes it would bring to your life. Like, well, what if I was fully authentic? What if I didn't lie? What if I didn't deceive? What if I spoke my truth? What if I made decisions of empowerment? What if I followed my gut, not what everybody else wanted me to do? You know what I'm saying? Like, these are the moment by moment decisions that we make sometimes that we don't realize that we may be sabotaging ourselves a million paper cuts, like one at a time, million little paper cuts over and over and over. Eventually we bleed out, right? Our power, so to speak. So we all do that. But a servant and a saboteur together, aside from the alliteration, can be very toxic, right? Please, I'll do whatever you want. No, right? The saboteur archetype for me, Wile E. Coyote, super genius, because I've never met someone in saboteur mode that didn't think they knew what to do. Womp, 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 womp. Debbie Downer alarm. Okay, what we're going to do now is we're going to take these two our divine feminine servant, and our divine masculine saboteur. We're going to take 5 cards from the Daughters of the Moon Tarot, fire, earth, air, water, spirit. We're going to do the same with the Mythic Tarot for the divine masculine saboteur, fire, earth, air, water, spirit, and a lovely thing called the element spread. So you can get the dynamics of what's going on, and hopefully, because like I said, anybody could identify with the saboteur archetype, because everybody has the saboteur archetype in the survival family. So if you're not sure, by the end of this process, you should have an idea. Now remember, I only said 13 cards. 2, 5 and 5 is 10, and we'll get you a healing mantra deck card. That should be enough to kind of move you forward and how to heal what needs to be healed, or what you can heal within yourself for a particular time period. Mid-September, mid-October 2020 are timeless. But then we'll be going much deeper in. We'll be going in deep, deep, deep with the extended. Cool. Daughters of the Moon, Voices of the Goddess. Take a nice deep breath. And we'll get all 10 of them out before we start flipping them over. My goddesses of air, the Gemini goddesses, please. I need 5 cards, as you know. Element spread for this divine feminine servant. Okay, you're here. Got it. For this, her role in this twin flame, Gemini collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign twin flame contract. How can she heal this? What is it she needs to know? Element of fire. What is her element of fire? What is her element of earth? I'll take that one. What is her element of air? I'll explain these as I go through. What is their element? Her. I'm going to say her and him. Please pardon the gender stuff just so my brain doesn't dissolve, trying to keep this all straight in my head, please. What is her element of water? Feeling that's going to be an important card there. And what is her element of spirit, the voice of the soul who agreed to this contract in the first place? Now, before we start flipping those, let's get his down. Remember, this isn't about gender. Just have to keep it clear in my head who I'm talking about. My gods, please guide my hand. Same thing. 5 cards, element spread for this divine masculine saboteur in this Gemini collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign. Twin flame contract. What's going on here so that he can heal this saboteur archetype? What's his element of fire? What is his element of earth? What is his element of air? What is his element, that one, of water? And what is his element of spirit, the point of view or the voice of the soul that agreed to the contract in the first place? Now, in the extended readings, I'm going to use tarot again to give you guys a simple timeline using both decks. But this is more for identification, to feel out which one you really are here, or at least to give you more tips on that or hints. But then also maybe to understand the dynamics of the twin, right? So, element of fire. What is it you burn for? What is it you desire? Well, the divine feminine servant here has the Cancerian card. Now, this could represent a Cancerian Sun, Moon, Rising, whatever. Not really getting that, though. That would make this person the Gemini, which is absolutely possible. But the 4th house is more about being at home within your own emotions. Wants something snuggly, something warm, something stable, something home life, right? The Cancerians are the mothers of the zodiac, so something nurturing. And what the divine masculine wants is the devil card, the card of Pan. Now, usually the card of Pan talks about toxicity, talks about chains that bind, talk about limitations, fears. So for them to want that in a twin flame contract does not feel that's the accurate interpretation. More like what they want is being held in chains, that they're afraid of what they want. The shadow self has taken over their desire. Not meaning they're possessed by their shadow in the sense of acting out their desires, like, well, I don't want to get too controversial here, but the idea of a dry drunk, right? Somebody who just stopped drinking but didn't go through some kind of healing process, then one day, wrong set of scenarios or right set of scenarios, however you want to look at that, and poof, they explode, right? And they get possessed by that pain, and they do things that they never would have done. So I get that. There's definitely a desire here, and it is base, meaning lower chakra, we could say it that way. There's probably a strong connection between these two energetically. Come on, 4 cards turned over. We don't know if this is romantic sexual yet necessarily. I'm not seeing that. But with the card of the devil, usually there's a touch of the shadow side of the forbidden. So maybe this divine masculine saboteur feels like this is a forbidden situation, which you know the taste of forbidden fruit. Sweet at first, bitter later. What do they have? The element of earth to feed the element of fire, help them get what they want, like the wood would feed the torch. We've got the Gemini card. Interestingly enough, this would again lead me to think that the divine feminine is the Gemini here, but maybe not, because here in the 8 of Cups, what we have is this saboteur. What they have to help them get what they want, to deal with that fear, is the 8 of Cups, to go into the underworld. This is Psyche, of the myth of Eros and Psyche, being tasked by Aphrodite, mother of Eros, to go into the underworld to retrieve Persephone's beauty cream. Now, unfortunately, today is Maybe if it was to happen today, she would have to go down into the underworld, but she had 6 months to do it while she was still topside. When you talk to gods every day, you get the sense of humor of that. So what the divine feminine has here then to help do this Gemini card is about self-expression, maybe communication, or definitely I'm getting this vibe that if the divine feminine, how does one serve through a 3rd house self-expression, right? There's even bits about networking I'm feeling in there. So definitely that they express themselves is really, really important here. Maybe expressing themselves to the saboteur, to the divine masculine, but it's like they've walked away, or at least they've walked inside to themselves. I feel like the chains here are a very, very strong bond between these two, and I am sort of getting more the romantic sexual vibe here because of that. Because family members, yes, you can feel chained to, and maybe you need to walk away from. And that might well be the case. I mean, so often you hear the devil is the Capricorn card, and here's the Cancer card. That's mom and dad, right? So there can be that vibe here, but let's keep going. I have a feeling that's going to clarify itself once we get right to now the sign, the element of air. What is it that they're thinking that feeds the fire? Oh. Well, let's start with the divine masculine, 6 of Swords. So he's definitely in a therapeutic place, right? Walking away from something of great emotional investment doesn't mean, the eight of Cups doesn't mean that doesn't complete as the 10 of Cups. It depends on the journey that you take. So here's what I've always said, the 6 of Blades, the 6 of Swords, is about therapy in some way. It's making the journey from rough, turbulent water to smooth, calm water, but it's done through the element of air, through the mind, seeing things differently, and counseling and therapy and meditation, whatever, mantras, mind tools, name it, right? Stick a rock on your head and walk around with it all day long. Definitely seeing things differently on a journey, but the divine feminine is thinking about the Tower, or that her mind has been struck by lightning. Now, I will say, with 2 court cards here, the Mother of Cups and the Maiden of Blades, we are looking at both a mutable and a cardinal thing. Want something cardinal, creative, that creative water of Cancer, like I said, that warmth, but what she has to help her get there is mutable air. Again, changing of thoughts, maybe communicating, and it feels like maybe there's been some breakthroughs. Now, I know people are afraid of the Tower card, and I get it. There are no bad cards in tarot. There are no good cards. They're just cards. They're neutral. It all depends on the energies connected to it, and a good intuitive reader can pull some of that out. It's a little tricky in a general reading with hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of zodiacals in the collective there, right? Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign. But definitely that sense of a truth comes in, and it is something mental. It is in the air, element. It is that seeing the truth. And remember, the truth will set you free, but it will usually piss you off first. Thank you, Gloria Steinem. So maybe as the result of being a servant, there are some informations that come in and really strike. Like, do you ever have a truth that just shakes you to your core? It's called being shook, right? Whoa, it just shakes you. Perhaps some news comes in. Maybe that's what this is. This Gemini card can certainly be that element of air messenger that brings in something. That mutable air changes the thought about everything. Oh, and remember, the divine masculine here is taking their own mental journey here in some way, shape, or form. So what's the emotion? What's the element of water? Now, I felt when this card hit the table it was going to be important, and it is. This is the Six of Flames. So to match the Six of Swords here in the element of air for the divine masculine, she's feeling fun. Bastet. Now, the Six of Wands in most decks is a victory. That's the next card in this deck. The Seven the Seven of Flames. But here the Six of Flames is Bastet, the Egyptian cat goddess of the sun, right? Solar, like, so having fun. And I think that's probably as the result of some truth. Or at least, well, because it's mental. That's why. Some piece of news, some communication that just balances everything in terms of her desire. Now just check in here. We've got air, we've got fire, we've got water, and we've got spirit. Let's see if she gets all 5 elements with that last card down, because over here we've got the devil in the element of fire and the death card in the element of water. The divine masculine Saboteur is going through an emotional transformation. They're dying and being reborn. They might even, I'm going to be gentle with this, but they might be feeling suicidal. They might be feeling like their whole world has been destroyed, and that's not necessarily true. It hasn't been destroyed, it's been changed, right? Matter cannot be created or destroyed, only changed or transformed. The death card is usually going to ashes and being reborn again, the phoenix transformation. And it touches everybody. And in 2020, who hasn't it touched, right? We've all had to rise up from ashes, figuratively, at least I know out west in the United States. There's literal ashes everywhere that people, places, and things, I guess, will rise from. But I'm feeling a little bad for this dude, right? Again, could be female. But the thing is, learning how to empower themselves, learning, perhaps what's dying away here are the limiting, are these chains, right? Maybe that's what's being burnt out of them, boiled, alchemized out of them. The chains, their fears, going through a process of real transformation. You know, they keep giving me this image. I love this image. It's from Matt Kahn, brilliant spiritual teacher. He's the last card down here with his healing mantra deck. He says, you know, cookie dough is all psyched to be a cookie, right? Until it gets in the oven. It's like, this Matt Kahn, it's such a brilliant metaphor. It's like, oh, this is kind of interesting. Hey, what's going on? Get me out of here. This hurts. Oh, this is horrible. The process of transformation, right? And the oven's like, sorry, I only answer to cookies. Dough, right? And then it comes out and it's like, oh, look at me. Look at me. I'm like crunchy on the outside, gooey on the inside, sweet and yummy, right? Particularly chocolate chip. I love me a chocolate chip. Dark chocolate chip. Pepperidge Farm, Nantuckets. Still remember. So let's look. What is the point of view of the soul here? And we get what's going on here emotionally. Yeah. All right. So the point of view of the soul. In other words, the soul is chosen to play the role and agreed to this contract in some way, shape, or form. The point of view of the soul for the divine feminine is the Four of Flames, conflict. Right? That there is something still to be resolved here. I do feel like this contract overall is in conflict. A conflicting contract. That they, obviously with that Eight of Cups going on there, and the Tower card hitting there, they are not together. They're probably not even communicating to each other, but the divine masculine has the soul card of fame, the star, Pandora's box, hope, guidance, grace. Do not give hope. Do not give up hope, Saboteur. Things will change. Things do change. And there is a higher plan in play for this contract. I wonder if this is... Anyway, just keep going. We'll see if this is one of them. They're twin flames that are either alchemized, transform into soulmate contracts, or not in the extended. I don't know if this next card is going to tell us this. So don't worry, I'm going to pop up the picture at the end, and we'll look at the whole thing and see what else they show me. But for right now, let's talk to the Ascended Masters of Twin Flame Contract Law. It's like going to their office. Breathe. My Ascended Masters of Twin Flame Contract Law. Please, I need one card in clarity. The Twin Flame Contract is about learning how to heal yourself. So please, what is the perfect healing mantra for this Gemini collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign mid-September, mid-October 2020, or timeless, that whether this is the Divine Feminine Servant or the Divine Masculine Saboteur, that they would be able to take this mantra and run with it, right? And use it in a way to help them heal and fulfill their role. Heal this healing twin flame contract, to heal what they need to heal within themselves, because their contract twin can't help them heal on this. So that's the one, the perfect healing mantra for this Divine Feminine Servant, this Divine Masculine Saboteur, and this Twin Flame Contract, September, October 2020, or timeless deconstructing doubt. Only my beliefs are in the way. You can't see that. I forget with my new lighting scheme with this particular deck. Deconstructing doubt. Only my beliefs are in the way. So I'm gonna say that that's kind of both sides of this. It looks like the Divine Feminine has that clarified for her. One bolt of truth can destroy, well, illusions which aren't real to begin with. Is like, can a shadow be destroyed, or do you just shine light on it? And what was the lack of light now has light, right? Only my beliefs are in the way. Really getting that feeling for the both of them. Although, let's see, element of air. Yeah, for an air contract read, there's only 2 air cards out of 13. That's not a whole lot. But certainly that deconstructing doubt part would add to that. I would consider that an air card, even though there's no elemental system in this healing mantra deck. Let's pop up... let me read the book, right? Okay, sorry. Deconstructing doubt. I always do this because he's just... I mean, it's very, very short, these... the little bookie book things here, but worth it. Deconstructing doubt. Only my beliefs are in my way. As you deconstruct doubt, you are no longer lost in the concerns and curiosities of what if, but are more rooted in the truth of what is. When doubt is deconstructed, hardship is no longer a sign of misfortune. It is an opportunity to step outside your comfort zone and meet the higher aspects of soul that exist just beyond the boundary of the self. This mantra is ideal for aligning with truth, being more self-actualized, and transforming inferiority. And I gotta say, I get that with this. I really do get like this. This is a miscommunication. If it's not a miscommunication, perhaps things were said, right? Perhaps there was a confrontation between the two of them and they've like retreated to their separate corners, so to speak. But that to deconstruct doubt, that the hardship that these two have been through, again, nothing here screaming sexual romantic stuff, just a feeling I get. Of course, the extended would go deeper into that. But it's just the chains of the devil, right? That's what he wants. Now that's what he wants to break free from, right? That's the break free from these limitations. And I feel like the links in the chain are like thoughts from mom and thoughts from dad and thoughts from this teacher and thoughts from that relationship and like they're just thoughts and beliefs that are in the way, but they can appear like a brick wall. They can appear like Fort Knox, right? An impenetrable vault. So let's pop up the picture and see what else I see. Nice deep breath. Magic clap. We have the servant archetype for the divine feminine here, the shadow attribute, using the lack of money as an excuse not to move forward with life. The light attribute delights in serving others with a free and loving heart. And that free and loving heart is a little bit on display here with this Cancerian Mother of Cups, Namu, a goddess, I think an Orisha of the oceans. I can't remember which tradition, please forgive me. It's a lot to memorize all of that and remember, but certainly a depth of emotion here, wants that emotional connection, and might very well feel connected to this divine masculine saboteur in some sort of emotional empathic way, being a divine feminine, wanting to nurture him, right? And wanting to be nurtured, hopefully, in exchange. And what the servant has here, this divine feminine, the Maiden of Blades, the Gemini card itself, may very well have a strong connection to this Gemini. And it's another way of looking at it, but still has to express themselves. Now, it does feel like were they to reach out and communicate to this this divine masculine saboteur right now, it wouldn't do much, right? They want to break their chains, but they're going into the underworld, whether they are aware of it or not, right? Going into to really dive deep here. So this feels more like that third house Gemini, self-expression, communication, right? Get things off your chest. Do some kind of art, some kind of creativity, some kind of verbal something or other, because somehow that brings you into a more nurturing place for yourself, right? And I think as a result of that communication and self-expression, a truth dawns, right? Though this is not a timeline, it's an element spread. But how many times by having a conversation and expressing yourself, something is said by someone else or sometimes it just flies out of your own mouth, that truth that shakes you, right? A realization, which there's a better card for that with the card of celebration, revelation, the judgment card. But this might be that kind of truth that just comes in and shakes everything to its core. Remember, it's in the position of air, the mind. In the position of water here, though, feels like she's up for whatever is going to happen. I mean, the Six of Flames is such a card of balance, of desire. So it doesn't feel like she's starving, but it doesn't feel like she's completely satisfied either, right? Like there's a balance. Like, let's play along. Let's just see how it goes. It feels like she's enjoying her life, even if it's not completely with this divine masculine, which then moves us into the voice of the soul, right? That Four Flames conflict. That perhaps there is a spiritual, that's a different way to look at this, a spiritual conflict written into this contract, right? A conflict in the contract. That there's perhaps some oil and water going on here. There is perhaps some ethical quandaries here, some ethical gray zones in terms of the desires of what these two want with each other, and it might really be rubbing this divine feminine the wrong way. So there's still some inner conflict going on here for this servant, maybe about whether or not to trust somebody who may have sabotaged this relationship before. Looking at the divine masculine, we do have the saboteur archetype. The shadow attribute induces self-destructive behavior or the desire to undermine others. And how do you undermine others? Let us not count the ways, because there are too many of them. But the light attribute, what he's heading for, highlights your fear of self-empowerment and the changes it would bring into your life. Now, I will say that has to do with facing fear. And what's the devil card about in this element of fire? It would say that he wants to face his fear. He wants to break free of these fears, these chains that bind, perhaps to more freely communicate with this servant archetype if the divine masculine is the Gemini. But even then, there is a connection here between the two of them that maybe he wants to break and break free of, to empower himself, to be free of this contract completely. So the chains that bind can either be binding him to or binding him back from, and I guess that's going to play itself out differently depending on who's watching this. But nonetheless, what he needs to do to deal with the devil is to go into the underworld. Totally makes sense, right? Eight of Cups. Not to walk away from a situation alone, but to walk into something deeper, more deeper introspection. And we are seeing in the Six of Swords, right, that moving from turbulent water to smooth water, some sort of mental therapeutic process here. And again, that can take billions of different forms, but it seems to be in play here, right? Or at least thinking about it, thinking about bringing himself into some sort of mental, maybe psychological balance here, because maybe feeling the transformation going on the inside. Now, I'm not going to say that just because this is a divine masculine, he doesn't know what's going on in his emotional field. I don't think that's fair. But when you are going through an emotional transformation, it is often painful and feels like death, and you feel like dying. It can have a lot of depression in there, a lot of feeling of what's the point? I am sitting in a pile of ashes. Why not just stay here? But life doesn't work that way. It always moves us forward, and that's why I'm feeling that card of the star here in the position of the soul. Voice of the soul is saying, do not give up hope. Not just for yourself, but I wouldn't give up hope. See, and this is what leads me to think that this might be one of those rare twin flames that alchemize into a soulmate. I mean, I don't know that I've ever seen one. I don't know that I've ever experienced one like that, known or unknown. I certainly don't know. But it does feel like something that is possible here. And of course, that would be scripted, written that way, regardless of the beliefs, right? Because what's our last card down here? Only my beliefs are in my way. So it's not that beliefs are in the way of this contract, but the beliefs that are in the way for perhaps both of them, right? This card is for both of them, is what's getting in the way. So for them to deconstruct their doubt might be as simple as little by little acknowledging that there are only thoughts here, and thoughts are things, and a belief is just a thought that you keep thinking, if we were to ask Abraham Hicks that vibe, right? But certainly beliefs, there are higher levels, and beliefs get interpreted differently. So really looking at that card of four flames in the soul position of the divine feminine, it can be that conflict going on there, and looking at the card of the star for the divine masculine in the soul position might very well be that he's being presented more with inspiration rather than just information, which we know can absolutely shift your beliefs. Understanding what is in your way is not actually something that needs to be in your way. In other words, it's there to grow from. It's there to learn from. We are all given belief systems from our families, from our societies, and we are just little baby sponges, right? Taking it all in. I always come back to this, not necessarily a belief, but you'll get it, right? Don't talk to strangers is brilliant for a 4-year-old. It's not great for a 44-year-old, right? At some point, these boundaries, these beliefs, if you will, have to be reevaluated, and it feels like that's what's going on here. So we'll see what goes on in the extended on Vimeo. But in the meantime, may the Gemini collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs be blessed with all that they need this mid-September to mid-October to heal their part in this twin flame contract, that they may heal, that they may grow, that they may deconstruct doubt, see things differently, resolve the conflict, find the inspiration that they need to heal, to grow, to learn, to become the best that they can be individually in this contract for their well-being and for the well-being of all. So mote it be. And so it is. Thank you so much for watching. Please do like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, comment if this is where we part ways. Otherwise, I'm giving you a preview at the end so you can see the first card down, which will be an angel card, who's the angel in charge of this contract. If you want to go watch that, you'll be able to catch it at the end of this video. Otherwise, wishing you the very best and the very blessed of it all, my Gemini friends. You are truly outrageous. Truly, truly, truly outrageous. Hail, farewell, and blessed, blessed be. Hello there, my Gemini collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs. Thanks for jumping over to Vimeo.com for the extended reading. I greatly, greatly, greatly appreciate it. Let's get down to business. We've got 5 other divination systems to work with here to really bring out some clarity of what you can do to heal your part, right? Heal yourself in this twin flame contract. I'm really going to recommend that you educate yourself on the new definition of twin flame and soulmate as indicated in on in the link descriptions in the YouTube video here, because I have a feeling with this predominance of air, at least that deconstructing doubt card in your mantra there, only my beliefs, ideas and beliefs are in the way, right? Yeah, only my beliefs are in my way. I think that there's a thing of education that any Mercury ruled sign, which is really just Gemini and Virgo, but anybody with a strong Mercury placement in something, that research and that education is just always important. So let's get you from the Healing with the Angels Oracle by Doreen Virtue. What is the angelic healing available to you? As if to say, what is the healing angel in charge of this twin flame contract mid-September to mid-October 2020? Please breathe. My beloved angels and archangels, please, one card in clarity for just that. This Gemini collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign, twin flame contract here, mid-September, mid-October 2020. What is the healing angel that is in charge with them, that walks with them, that either one of them and both of them can call upon to help themselves heal individually in this twin flame contract, September, October 2020, the angel of freedom. Now that speaks so many different levels. What would the angel of freedom do, right? Show you where you're already free, for starters. Just my take on it, right? Well, you're free to do what you want. You are. You're free to hold your breath or to breathe. You are free to, I don't know. Oh, right, this is VIMEO. I can curse. To shit or go blind, right? You are free to do whatever it is you need to do, right? On your path. But this might also be what? Freeing yourself by deconstructing doubt, right? That only my beliefs are in the way. I really get the feeling from this, and we'll see how this reading bears out, that this feels a little bit like a soulmate that's really disguised as a twin flame. Like from the new criteria, this is turbulent, this is tricky, this is transformative. You're learning how to heal yourselves, but there's something here that both of you aren't seeing right, and it has to do with freedom, and it has to do with freeing yourself from that, right? Well, freedom is just another word for nothing left to lose, right? So, you know what we're going to do? We're going to look at what do they got to lose here? At least what is the problem? Taking the Chuck Spezzano Love Pack, divided into 2 decks. The suit of the problem, which is literally half the deck, and the other 3 suits of luck, healing, and grace to balance that out. So let's see, what is the problem here from the Ascended Masters of Twin Flame and / maybe soulmate contracts? Let's have a look-see, duck-see. Breathe. Yes, my Ascended Masters of Twin Flame, possibly soulmate contract lodge. Just call you guys the soul contract lawyers, huh? Please, one card in clarity. What is the problem here in this contract? This Gemini collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign twin flame contract involving this divine feminine servited, this divine masculine saboteur, mid-September, mid-October 2020. Please. Rules are in the way. Rules are the problem. Now, we're not talking about legitimate boundaries here. We're talking about the rules of engagement, right? The rules of the game. I remember that book, The Rules, in the 90s. Toxic shit, right? Careful with that stuff. It's game playing, right? This might very well be about the it's like I said, it's like they said it to me before. It's like, don't talk to strangers. Brilliant for a 4-year-old. Not great for a 44-year-old, right? So there's some rules that are, they're the chains. The chains, well, I can't do that. Well, says who? Well, my mom, right? Well, she in charge of your life? Maybe there needs to be a rule revision here. My God, that could be playing itself out in so many different ways. But, you know, it might be that one person's rules are too restrictive for the other. If this were to be something other than romantic sexual, like you'd see this as parent-child, right? There's so many different ways this would play itself out. So let's move on. Let's look at what is the remedy, right? We've got the problem on the table. We've got the grace, the luck, and the healing here to look at, right? Breathe. Yeah, the pieces of the puzzle are turning on the table inside my mind. Turntable in my mind. Please, the Ascended Masters of Soulmate, Twin Flame Contract, Soul Contract. That's what we're gonna say. We're gonna call you guys from now on the Ascended Masters of Soulmate of Soul Contract Law. Keep it short. Too late. Please, one card in clarity. What is the remedy here? The piece of luck, the piece of grace, or the piece of healing for this Gemini collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign, Twin Flame contract, mid-September, mid-October 2020, or timeless, Divine Feminine, Servant, Divine Masculine, Saboteur, with lots of rules standing in between them. What is the solution here? The piece of luck, the piece of grace, the piece of healing. Oh, I grabbed the wrong deck. Let's give you a double whammy problem. You guys could have told me. Breathe. Piece of love. Sorry, piece of luck. Piece of grace. Piece of healing for this Gemini collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign. Please, my Ascended Masters of Soul Contract Law.